What's up, guys? Welcome to another video. Today we are going to be doing a new panel design on the X Factor chassis with my 3D printed panels. I found a Rockstar punched fruit punch, I think was the flavor. Yep, fruit punch. Thought the cans looked really cool. I've got this one with the funky designs and the guitars on it. They also have, they just released this same can with the Starfield logo and everything, but in red. So I'll be kind of doing the same thing where I use like the standard can for the roof and the doors. This here. And then the Starfield can will be going on the hood here. And then I'll probably use the Starfield can on the new tailpiece section that I just came up with. This still needs some tweaking. You can tell on the back here, it's not exactly flush. And then I broke this side of my chassis right there. So getting measurements has been a little difficult, but we're getting there. So a little bit more designing on that piece and then that'll be good to go. But today I just kind of wanted to go over how I go about cutting out the cans. Oh, I just broke it even more. Great. I get some super glue on that. Anyway, wanted to go through how I go about cutting the cans, getting the holes nice and clear so you can get the screws through them. Alright, so I'm going to try something a little new here. I got myself a tripod so I can do this kind of a thing. With the way that you have to cut out these door panels because of the size of them, obviously you can tell that I did that cut right there, and I was able to get the Rockstar punched, a little bit of the star right there. I ended up cutting off the R of the star. So I did get a good amount of graphic on there. I really like the way that this looks. I think that there's more detail than the orange can. I do like the color of the orange. Obviously you can tell that they're very, the can art is very similar. So they have, it just says punched instead of recovery. There's more detail on it than on the recovery one. So for, this is what, driver's side. For the driver's side, I'm going to do the Rockstar punched. For the passenger side, I was wanting to do, I think right there, just to get mostly graphic. Move it over probably there. This is a scrap set of panels that I'm using for my own truck. They didn't print very good, so I figured these would be a good candidate. So maybe we do, just trying to figure this out. This is the process, so whenever you're doing this, if you don't do it on the Rockstar can, you can do this same sort of thing on your own can. I kind of want that. I like that a lot. I think that looks really cool. I think it's a chicken? I don't know. But then, like, there's a tiger face biting the guitar. It all just looks so cool. I want to do a 1/10 with these, but I don't think that they're big enough, except for maybe like some roof panels, something like that. I've got a 1/10 Endura buggy I'd like to do this kind of a thing on. Anyway, maybe I'll just line that up right there. We'll get a little bit more branding. It does leave that kind of just, it's just black right there. Yeah, we'll just do that. We'll call that good. So I would recommend using scissors for this, or a pair of even tin snips would be good. I'm dumb. I like to use a utility knife. So anyway, please be careful. Working with aluminum is very sharp. So all of these edges are very, very sharp. The whole point of this is to try and reduce sharp edges. Unfortunately, you have to go through a lot of sharp edges to get those clean edges. So I recommend leaving about 1/4 of an inch. It's about that much around the outside of the panels. It gives you a lot to wrap around with, and then when you put your screws through, it'll actually penetrate through the front, and then you can get into the back, so it'll hold the panel better. There's just a lot less opportunity for slipping or anything like that. So let's go ahead, and I like to just kind of score it lightly. This is not something that needs to be perfect. All of these edges that you're cutting out will be behind the panel, so they don't need to look great. The only thing that matters is having what's behind the panel right now, having that looking nice is the important part. But the other fun thing about this is the more you run the truck, the more the panel gets damaged, and it gives you a really unique and intriguing look. So after you get it traced out, you can see that it indents pretty good, and it's pretty much ready to cut. Like I said, I'm not the greatest at arts and crafts, but I make do. Looks like I missed there a little bit. Oh well. We'll make it work. So, light pressure, that breaks right out. Give this some back and forth bends. Like I said, be extremely careful. I've cut myself a lot doing 2 sets of these that I've done so far. There we go. That's pretty well garbage at this point. So there is our panel. So we'll flip this over. This is now the front. You can tell on the panels when you order them, the front is where these are indented. On the back you'll see this kind of textured pattern, and there's no indents there. These 2 screws are for the interior. Those screw the interior to the chassis, so I left those as pass-throughs. That way you can still take your interior on and off without having to remove the panel. Just try to keep it convenient. Anyway, so now we're going to get to the fun part, which is the bending. So when you get this lined up, I like to start here at the back side. You want to keep as much pressure on that as you can. Give that a nice firm bend, firm crease, just like that. That gives it a nice set crease there. And then after we do that one, I like to do the bottom. This is not an exact science. I'm just as new to this as you are. Like I said, I've only done this twice. that a crease, fold that back down. So now you can see on here we've got this little square. That square needs to come out. So we're going to take our tin snips or scissors, and we're just going to take that out. Put our panel back in, and now when we crease that up, get that sitting where it needs to, and crease this down, sitting where it needs to. Like that. Now you can see that there's a little bit here that needs to come off. So we'll take that and just cut that at an angle. Again, this doesn't need to be perfect. Okay, so there's our first corner. As you can see, there is this little burr here that should just break right off. The other thing I like to do is I just take some, this is 220 grit sandpaper, and you just kind of give that some backs and forths. And that really, just that little bit of rubbing makes that hardly even scratch you. I mean, you can give it a little more. And that's just not even bad. So I would recommend after you get all your edges cut and everything, go through and just kind of hit them with a little bit of sandpaper, like seriously 5 or 6 passes. Show you the middle one here. That one is kind of tricky, but essentially all you're going to do is, if it's an inner corner like this, then you're just going to kind of cut it like that, just give it a little snip, and then here you're going to go parallel with that angle and just give that a snip. Same thing here. And once you get this bottom corner done, you can really push the panel into that corner, and it just kind of keeps everything tight. So we'll give that a little cut. Same thing on this one and this one. So those few relief cuts there, you can now bend this separately, this separately. You can bend them all separate. So the front piece here, unfortunately, with how tight that is, I usually just kind of just go parallel with the panel. Just cut that off. You'll have a little tiny black piece showing through, but it's not really a huge deal. So I'll bend that one over. We can bend that one over. This one on this corner is going to need a little bit of trimming. So we'll get that good. Fold it over like that. Obviously you can tell the more you leave on the outside, the easier it is to bend it. It can kind of be a pain if you don't have very much, so cut out more than you think you need. So we'll give that a little cut right there. Fold that in. We'll fold this in. Like I said, a little bit of sandpaper takes these sharp edges. See, like this one up here, I didn't quite leave enough there, so that's going to be a total pain. And there's a possibility that in the future, that's going to pop off and become unbent. So, obviously don't love that, but it's whatever. Get that folded down. Get this folded down. If you are having problems with the panels popping up and really giving you guff, E6000 glue is a great solution to that. Super glue doesn't work very good just where this is metal to plastic, but this stuff right here, if you put just a teeny tiny dab under there, you could even do the entire perimeter of the panel here. So now I'm going to leave this folded over here, and we're going to fold this last edge like that. That'll give us our cut mark there. So we just got this one last one last square to remove. Kind of at an angle there. Kind of at an angle here. There we go. So now we can fold this, wrap that around, wrap that around. Again, we got another sharp edge here. So grab our sandpaper. So there's that panel all done. And here's its brother. Not too bad. So the rest of the panels are all very simple. They're all that exact same process. I think this one's probably the next hardest. I really couldn't be happier with the way that this whole idea has turned out. And I've really appreciated the amount of support that I've gotten over it. I didn't expect these to be as popular as they are. A lot of people like them. A lot of people love them. I'm really happy to hear that. And I'm going to continue to try and make them better. I totally forgot to show you how to put your screw holes in. The easiest way I've found is to grab a super tiny little drill bit. This is 1.1 millimeters. Poke that through on that side. And then if you do have a drill bit, that's preferable. If you don't have a 1.1 millimeter drill bit, you can use any sort of pick, anything like that. Something sharp enough to go through an aluminum can, which is most things. So I shove it through the back with the drill bit, and I give it a spin with my fingers, and that tends to pulls the aluminum in before cutting off the burrs. So it leaves a nice smooth edge. And then on these bigger holes, I go back from the outside and I just kind of push on it. That makes that hole bigger. So kind of unfold it a little bit, find the hole, shove the drill bit through. Give it some spins. And then if the holes that are covered, that's when you just come from the front. Push that drill bit back through. Helps if you're against something solid, that way the hole actually lines up. So you're putting pressure on that back part. So you just kind of put the pressure on, give it a twist, drill into whatever it is you're working on, and then pull on it. And this is another one of those pass-through holes, so I'll kind of push on it like that. Depending on the type of screw you use, it should pull through the aluminum. The rest of the screw holes are kind of just a copy-paste. So here's one of the regular screw holes with the divot in it. So I pull that out and then kind of push on it, and then that kind of creates that divot again. So it's pretty simple. I would absolutely love to see your creations. What can you decide to use? I've seen a couple of people have done monster cans. I've thought about doing a couple of different monster cans. There's a lot of them that I like the design of. Red Bull can I think would be really, really cool. There's C4, which is one of my favorites other than these Rockstars. I think that you could probably make those work. The logos on them are a little big. The C4 would probably take up most of the truck. I think if you were able to lay them out so that it started here and kind of worked its way up and was like one cohesive image, you could definitely do that. The options for wrapping these are absolutely endless. All of the customers that have built these and posted them online, I have saved those on my Instagram story under customer builds in my highlights. So if you go over to my Instagram, you can check those out and you can get some inspiration. I've seen one guy just random black, just straight raw. He called it the Black Shark. So I really liked that truck. Hopefully that you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully this helped if you were confused about how to get these panels looking as good. So yeah, make sure to stay tuned, follow my Instagram. You can find me on Facebook as well. I'm really active in Micro Crawler Club. Sweet, thanks for tuning in guys, really appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next video.